Now you be at 12:06 and 52 seconds on this Saturday night / Sunday morning on the Fan, New York City. Steve Summers here, you there. Mike Hayes on the other side of the glass. 718-937-6666. Number to call as we begin overnight under the covers. Schmoozing. Some SPORTS with you until Bob Salter at 6. You're on the Fan, New York City. 7.7 seconds to go in the 7th game. Some fans in section 327 said goodbye and left. Couldn't take it anymore. Went to the bathroom, end of regulation. The line was long. Heard someone say, no Red Sox fan will ever understand what it means to suffer as a Ranger fan. Then you heard a flushing sound. 7.7 seconds to go. People were counting down. Somebody said in section 327 that 7 used to be a lucky number. After all, Mickey Mantle wore number 7. At the end of the first overtime, the building was quiet, very somber, very subdued. You could feel the tension. Nobody really wanted to give up. But everybody knew that a low-scoring game might favor the Devils and that maybe momentum had shifted. They remembered Game 1. 42.7 seconds to go. Again, 42.7. And the Devils were on their way to a double overtime win. The fans knew the Rangers had never won a series after trailing 3-2. Never. 0 for 15. Maybe thinking, maybe step on my toe, I'll step on yours, was thinking Game 3. Maybe a good part of those at the Garden thinking 55 years. This was a classic game, a work of art, something Picasso would want to put on canvas. Only 2 penalties called in the entire game. Something else was classic, something else that goes down with maybe Russ Hodges' emotional call in 1951. This kid from Bay Ridge, Queens, was doing the game, living his dream. 100 years from now, somebody calls this radio station and makes a request. Oh, yeah, the announcer will say, is this the call you want?
Oh, Matteau! Matteau! Defend Matteau! And the Rangers have one more hill to climb, baby! But it's Mount Vancouver! The Rangers are headed to the finals!
All right. As we like to say in the trade, just getting underway overnight. Under the covers. Schmoozing until Bob Salter at 6 o'clock right here on the Fan, New York City. Now keep in mind the telephone number, as if you didn't know, 718-937-6666. Number to call right here and right now on the Fan, New York.
Looking for more live coverage of the big leagues? Then keep it here on the Fan, because nobody gives you baseball like Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York.
Trying to sell a car, isn't it?
66, the Fan, WFAN, New York.
And with us on the line right now is the Rangers PR director, Mr. Barry Watkins. And I'm glad you gave us a call, Barry, because first and foremost, thank you very much for the tickets for maybe, arguably, one of the best of all time.
My pleasure, Steve. It's nice to have you there. You're such a Ranger supporter. Maybe you brought us a little luck last night.
Well, I hope so. Rare for me, Barry. Anyway, I understand you have a story.
Well, I was only going to tell you this if we won the game, but I got to relay a story from yesterday morning at Rye Playland as our team prepared for Game 7. I was in one of the offices at Rye as the players were in their normal meeting with the coaching staff before going on the ice for practice. And all of a sudden, towards the end of the meeting, excuse me, there was some clapping going on in the video room where the meeting was taking place.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, when the doors opened, I went in to find out what the clapping was. And the players had said it was a videotape that Colin Campbell, our associate coach, had made, and it showed the team just at that moment. And the reaction was tremendous. Apparently, Coley showed them a tape of a replay of the highlights of Game 6 with the calls of Gary Thorne from ESPN. With it, in between the calls, was the song New York, New York. And it got quite a reaction from the players, and it really pumped them up for the game.
Oh, that's great.
And I asked Coley where he got the idea to do that tape for the players, and he said that the night before, he was watching TSN, the Canadian equivalent of ESPN, and he fell asleep at Rye, and he woke up around 3:45 to get in his car to go home, and he was listening to your show, and he heard some replays of goals just exactly like that, and went right back to Rye, worked on the tape from 4 in the morning till 8 in the morning, just as if it was on your show, and showed the players Friday morning. And that seemed to have put us over the top.
Oh, that's great. I'm really flattered.
That's
that
exactly
really
the truth. He told me he was listening to your show, and he had never heard it before. And Coley's a master of motivational tapes, and he's done all kinds throughout his career. And he said he had never thought of anything like that, and picked it up from your show and showed it to the entire team, and the reaction was tremendous.
Well, I'm very flattered, and of course now maybe I can get hired by the Rangers as yet maybe another assistant coach.
Or a consultant would be more like it. Yeah. But I just wanted to relay that to you so that you know that you just played a small part in the Rangers' victory, and hopefully we'll use that to get 4 more wins from here on in.
Well, I hope so, Barry. And of course after the game I got to meet Neil Smith for the first time, and Neil did say, once again, I'd heard this story from a number of people here at the radio station, Barry, that if the Rangers win a Stanley Cup, Neil comes down one night and spends an hour or so taking calls from Ranger fans, and of course, another reason for the Rangers to go about winning the Stanley Cup, because I know that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be great. Neil might stay there all night, I think. I think you might have to kick him off if we win the Cup. He enjoys your show. He's actually an avid listener a lot of nights, and I know that he would enjoy that quite a bit.
Well, I certainly enjoyed the game just a little bit more than 24 hours ago, and it was exciting. And Barry, with your association with the Rangers, and of course we all know how important Game 7 is going to be. I mean, obviously, was this the best played hockey game? One of the best played hockey games you've ever seen?
Well, it's hard for me to tell because I guess as most fans were, and I was a Ranger fan and season ticket holder before I ever started working for the team. I got so wrapped up in hoping that we just scored the next goal, even when it was 0-0, and then when Leach scored to make it 1-0. I couldn't really focus on the play of the game. I guess I'll watch the tape down the road to see actually how the play was. But I think as most fans were, you're so revved up just so that the Rangers score, it's hard really to evaluate it. But I guess I could, in a preliminary way, say that it certainly would be a classic.
7.7 seconds to go, Barry. What were you feeling?
Well, I was down right by the bench there, getting ready for to go out on the ice to help with the trophy presentation and get our players to the different networks that were on the ice for post-game interviews. And I had them all lined up, and it was quite a thing. I mean, but I had a lot of confidence in the team. I've been around the team now throughout the playoffs every day, and you know, the leadership of the group is tremendous, the coaching staff, and I had a lot of confidence that we still were going to win. This is a special team this year.
I was sitting on the aisle in row J and seat number 1 in section 327, thanks to you, and across from me was a man who was there with his 2 sons, and they all had Ranger jerseys on with their own first names on the back. And the father, once overtime started, Barry, could not look. He was looking down the whole time, and there were people, of course, standing up in front of him. He did not stand up like he did during regulation. He couldn't look, and he kept fooling with his hair, Barry, looking down, mumbling, talking to himself. I couldn't hear what he was saying because of the din and the noise, of course, but I could see the lips moving. Maybe he wasn't saying anything, but he was fooling with his hair, looking down, sitting in his seat, even on those occasions when everybody was standing up.
Tremendous. Ranger fans are just the best. I mean, it was just one of the most amazing things to me was we went out on the ice there, and the celebration by the bench took place, and then some players did some TV interviews, and then Mess went back and picked up the trophy for the photographers, and just as Mess left the ice, I was right behind him to go into the locker room, and I looked up, and it was amazing the amount of people that was still there. It just seemed they didn't want to leave, that it was such a special moment that the longer it went on, the better. And hey, Ranger fans deserve it. I mean, they're a great, great group of people and very loyal, obviously. And we just hope that we're fortunate enough to win 4 more and give them what they want.
And it begins Tuesday night against Vancouver at the Garden. And Barry, correct me if I'm wrong, Vancouver has not won at Madison Square Garden since 1988?
I don't know exactly. I know that our record at the Garden against them over the last 6 or 7 years is just tremendous. I don't remember losing a game there. I probably would say that would be accurate. But even since they've come into the league, I think the Rangers have a tremendous record against Vancouver at the Garden. But hey, we were 6-0 against New Jersey, too, in the regular season.
Right.
So I don't know how much we're going to look at those things.
Well, first of all, again, thanks for the tickets. You know how much it meant for me to be there. And again, thanks for the call. And we hope to see you soon.
No, okay, Steve. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Barry. Bye-bye. All right, Barry Watkins, PR man, New York Rangers. It is 12:21 even on this Saturday night / Sunday morning on the Fan, New York City. And we shall pause for the 2020 with Iron Eagle.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Steve, Knicks got a taste of their own medicine yesterday. They were beaten by Indiana 88-68. Pacers played the kind of defense New York is known for. Pat Riley's club setting a new NBA record for fewest points in a postseason game. Indiana held Patrick Ewing to 1 point. The 7-foot center averaged 30 in the first 2 contests of the series. Derek McKee broke out of a slump with 15. Rick Smith, Reggie Miller chipped in with 14 apiece. Knicks still lead in the series, though, 2-1. They will resume play Monday afternoon in Indiana. To baseball, Mets are back over the 500 mark. A come-from-behind 5-4 win over Cincinnati. Bonilla, Thompson, and Kent all with New York homers. Mike Maddox, the W, he's 1-0. John Franco picked up save number 11. With the victory, Dallas Green's team improves to 24-23. Yankees continue to roll a 10-inning 5-3 win in Kansas City last night. Jim Leyritz hit solo homer, put the Bombers ahead. They've now won 4 in a row. Other scores around Major League Baseball: Cleveland out Oakland 4-2, Toronto 9, California 4, White Sox top Baltimore 6-2, and Milwaukee defeated Seattle by the score of 7-5. In the National League, Colorado in 10 innings down Montreal 3-2. Same score, Florida beat San Francisco. Chuck Carr singled in Brett Barbery for the game-winning run in the 9th. Houston 7, Philadelphia 5, Brian Williams the W, and Chicago all over Atlanta 9-2. Anthony Young with another victory. He's got 3 on the year. To tennis now, more upsets at the French Open. Number 8, Michael Chang, and 9th-seeded Todd Martin were bounced yesterday. Goran Ivanisevic did advance. For the ladies, number 9, Lindsay Davenport was eliminated. Among those moving on, though, Arantxa Sanchez-Vicario and Conchita Martinez. And Julius Burrows, who won PGA Tour events into his late 40s, died after collapsing at a golf course in Fort Lauderdale yesterday. Boris was 74. With reports every 20 minutes, this is Iron Eagle, WFAN 2020 Sports.
All right, Iron Eagle, thank you very much for that. In your American League, in 10, Minnesota beat Detroit 10-9. Also in 10, Boston beat Texas 3-2. Bottom of the 7th inning, it is San Diego 2 and St. Louis nothing. And in the top of the 6th inning, Pittsburgh 7, Hollywood 1.
Imus in the morning. Sports all day. We're the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York.
Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN New York.
And Phil is calling from Lyndhurst. Good morning, Phil.
How you doing, Steve?
Very good, Phil. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay, I have 2 quick questions for you. What's your opinion on the carryover from the last game they played, Vancouver and the Rangers, with the brawl they had?
I
Is that
don't...
going to have any kind of carryover in this? Because it's the...
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
I doubt it. Well, you know, listen, I'm not in their minds, and I'm not a mind reader. Kreskin, you're not talking to. But I don't think that that's going to matter much now.
Exactly.
Too much is at stake to have a grudge get in the way of your focus. And the focus, of course, is winning and getting the Stanley Cup. And I don't think that will have much to do with anything. It might. I really don't know for sure. How can anyone really at this point know for sure, but I doubt that we're going to see any kind of revenge factor get in the way of what Ranger and Vancouver motivation is going to be all about, and that's winning the Stanley Cup.
Yes, and the other one is what do you do with Korpatsev and Lister? You keep Lister in the lineup for this first game, or?
I would. I mean, you know, if I'm the coach, I would do that, and of course I'm not the coach, but you know, it's funny because when they were introducing the scratches before the game, when they were mentioning the scratches before the game, when Karpovtsev's name was mentioned, the cheers went up.
And that's what I don't understand, because the one game Lister did play in Game 6, he played an outstanding game.
Yes, he did.
And I don't know, that's what I didn't understand, why did, you know...
Well, I think that it was really more from Karpovtsev maybe putting a puck into the Ranger net. And, of course, yeah, and there's a little bit of that, and a little bit of the fact that Doug Lister in Game 6, as you point out, had done such a great job, especially just shaking off the rust. And what he did in Game 6, he was just right in the flow and rhythm of the entire game, and played so exceptionally well that you knew you were going to see him again in Game 7. But then again with Mike Keenan, the master of suspense, you never know really what's going to happen. What I would imagine, we're going to see a lot more of Doug Lister.
Yes. If you have time real quick, too, what do you think about Anderson, too? Eddie Olczyk had such a good game, too, in that Game 6.
And was scratched for Game 7.
And that's what I don't understand either.
Trying to get as much blood out of the turnip known as Glenn Anderson.
That's what, I mean, besides...
You've had enough of Glenn, haven't you?
Oh, too much. Way too much. I'm calling from Devil Country, and I'm a big Ranger fan. I'm 5 minutes from the Meadowlands Arena.
I'm gonna say this. Are you a Devils fan?
No. I'm a big Ranger fan, but I'm just saying I'm surrounded by Devil fans.
Well, I'll tell you something. I mean, you got to be easy on those fans, because as disappointed as they are, no exit jokes, no turnpike jokes.
No.
I'll tell you, the Devils team and Devils fans can by far and away hold their heads up very high. It was a classic series, something to behold, something that people will be talking about 100 years from now. 3 double overtime games, 1, 3, and a Game 7. How exciting, how suspenseful. I mean, with all the baseball games that I saw growing up, and basketball games and football games, this ranks right at the top in terms of drama and excitement. And a lot of that had to do with the way the New Jersey Devils played.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, they played with such heart and a tremendous amount of spirit. And it's a shame, really,
that someone has to lose.
That's right. That's exactly right. Everyone's happy that finally fortune's turned for the New York Rangers. If you go back 54 years, you know you're looking at a loss come overtime.
Thank God that it happened the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
Thanks, Phil.
All right.
Keep in touch.
You too.
Bye-bye. Oh, I will, but I don't have his number. Don is calling from Queens. Good morning, Don.
Hi, Steve.
Don, thanks for calling. How you doing this morning?
I'm alive.
You are alive, and so are the New York Rangers.
I tell you, Steve, I got to tell you, you are a very popular man. You know, I called you on Thursday. I told you where I was sitting, 422, row D. I had 4 people come around to my section. Where's Steve Summers? Where's Steve Summers?
Well, I was surprised. I'll tell you something, and of course the ego from here to there, my head began to swell. A number of people came over to where I was sitting, and I don't know how they knew what I looked like, other than before the game going into the press lounge and saying hello to people who have been on the program. I wanted to thank them for that. I met some people for the first time. I was looking for Barry Watkins. I couldn't find him. He wasn't where I was at the time. But a number of fans came over to say hello, how they knew I was sitting there. I never said anything on the air.
You didn't say you knew where you were sitting?
No, because I didn't know where I was sitting until I went to window number 5 to pick up my tickets before the game. And it was just delightful, and I was glad to meet some new people. That's half the fun of going.
But probably people saw you on the bit when Bruce Beck did his...
Oh, that could be, yeah, or that picture that was taken out of context in the newspaper. Who knows already? Yeah. But for the most part, it was so much fun to be there, and people who had vocal cords...
I don't have much left.
No, that's the whole point. I mean, nobody has any vocal cords that was there at the game.
I tell you, 26 years, like I told you, I've had the tickets. I've seen a lot of games. And this got a rank with maybe the greatest I've ever seen. I have to say that. It's phenomenal. And it went our way for a change, which is also very, very unusual because, you know, and you said it a little while ago, what would normally happen. So maybe the Demons are gone, but they had to kill us first with 7.7 seconds to go.
Oh, that's right. I mean, yeah. But before you can shake the 54 years without a Stanley Cup championship, 7.7 had to be there. There was one Demon still hanging around in the rafters. All the other Demons seem to have been gone, but one Demon was still hanging around. Now there are, at least we could say at this point in time, because there are still 4 more wins to go. But we can say at least the Devils are gone, if not the Demons.
Well, I got to tell you, that 15 minutes in between, I stood there like a statue. I was in total shock, like the whole building was. My brother-in-law says to me, with 48 seconds to go, who do you think the 3 stars of the game are going to be? And I said, there's still 48 seconds, and we're talking about the New York Rangers here, and nothing ever comes easy.
Yeah, and you remember when there was a stoppage of play with 48 seconds to go, and my friend sitting next to me said, wasn't it 42.7 in that first one, in which the Devils were to score and then go on and win in overtime? And here it was, 48 seconds, and we were just happy that it got beyond 42.7.
That's right.
And we thought we were over the hump at that point in time.
All I'm saying to you regarding this whole situation, remember when I spoke to you on Thursday regarding Brodeur, and I thought he was going to be shaky and everything? This kid is unbelievable. I mean, I got to give him credit. I got to tip my hat, as much as I hate to do it. The guy was phenomenal.
Yeah, you do have to be fair here, and he was absolutely fantastic. But however, has Ron Francis been hanging around Mike Richter? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, he has passed all tests, but Brodeur, especially in overtime with Noonan, he made a great stop, and then Sheenhoff. I mean, both goaltenders, not only in regulation, but in the double overtime as well, making some fantastic stops. But Martin Brodeur, a guy 22, 23 years of age, I mean, judging from his rookie season, you know this guy's going to be around a long time.
This guy is not a flash in the pants. I mean, to make the saves and under the pressure, under that building, the crowd, and for him to stand up, and like I say, I've been a Ranger fan for 26 years, season ticket holder. This got to be tops. This was a phenomenal game. I mean, it turned out for a change. It went our way, and it's very important that we continue along the way here and win this thing and get all the Demons out of the building, and we just got to keep going because it just has to be. There's no more anything. We got rid of a hell of a lot. I mean, we got through the Patrick division again. We got through the Patrick division.
That's exactly right. And you got to remember, you know, when you take a look back on the 7 games of this series, how tough it was, how much of a tug of war it was, how the race was on between the tortoise and the hare and the tortoise. And the thing is, you look back now, and the Rangers beat the Devils this season 10 of 13 times.
That's right. That's right. And you look at it that way, of course. We look at it now, but I tell you one thing. I am very, very happy to be going Tuesday night to the finals, and I got to tell you, it's going to be, Steve. It has to be. And I also want to say that I was very impressed with Howie Rose's mellow call of the winning goal.
If only he could get more enthusiastic.
Yeah, I don't know why he couldn't get more excited. I thought it was fabulous. A couple of people called up the show and criticized him for being a homer. I mean, at this point, that's totally ridiculous.
Oh, that's so silly.
I know, but are you going to be going to any of the finals?
Well, I hope so. I don't want it to go beyond 4, to be honest with you, because if that would be nice if the Rangers could win it in 4 straight. But if it goes beyond that, I may be calling Barry Watkins' number. I feel kind of guilty doing that, and this is not any kind of false modesty on my part. I don't go to many games. Mainly because of my hours. It's easier for me to watch or listen to a game at home, not have to worry about getting there early or leaving early. I can listen to the game. I can watch the replays. I can make my notes. A lot of thoughts come to me during the course of watching or listening to a game, and then it's much easier for me to get to work with my hours at 12 o'clock. Also, there's preparation time to go at my age. At my age, Don, at my age, Don, I need that nap in the late afternoon or early evening. And so it really is logistically a lot easier for me to watch at home or listen at home But I will see what happens after 4 games. I hope it doesn't go more than 4 games. And if there's an opportunity.
Go 5 because I'd like him to win it at home. We'd like to see him win it at home.
That's right.
That's the main thing, to win it at home.
Yeah.
But this has been a terrific stretch run. The team has showed more character than I've ever seen in 26 years of a Ranger team. And you had people around you. I understand Anthony put his hand through an exit sign, and his hand was all bloodied up. Did you know about that?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
And I talked with Anthony. You're talking Anthony Sinque.
Yeah.
And Anthony gave me a call yesterday afternoon. He didn't say a word about that.
Yeah, he smashed his hand through an exit sign before.
You're kidding.
No. They had to wrap his hand in all sorts of toiletries. I mean, I'm in 422. I have friends that sit over in the other area. And
won in the ninth, but tied it on a Darrell Boston 2-run homer. The difference in this game?
Montgomery deals the 1-2. Swung on and driven deep to right center field. Giving chase, Felix Jose looking up. See ya! Home run, Jim Leyritz, and the Yankees lead 4-3.
That's Michael Kay with a call on WABC Radio. Yankees added another run. They have won 4 in a row. Bobby Bonilla homered and doubled twice. Mets beat Cincinnati 5-4 yesterday. Reds have lost 7 of their last 8. Ryan Thompson, 2-run homer in the 6th inning. That put New York up to stay.
Every game's a big game, and we're taking nothing lightly.